I've been involved with iGaming since 1995 and have had the opportunity to see it evolve over those years. What I wanted to do was to introduce our panel. What we wanted to do was to go from, there we go. I wanted to go from last sessions, which was mainly looking at what's going on in the U.S., toward a more global look. And so what we've done is assemble some folks who will help us look at this through some other lenses in terms of other parts of the world. And so let me just go ahead and start with introductions, and then we'll get into the discussion. Our format's going to be, they're each going to start out with just some comments and perspectives from their own region, and then we'll have some kind of free-flowing discussion. And as in last time, once we finish their opening remarks, if you have questions, comments, theories, suggestions, whatever, please feel free to step in. To my left is Harry Ashton, who I've known for a number of years. He has a past history. When we originally met with gambling compliance as a journalist there, and has been very, very good at really getting the big picture with the industry. He's now with Aristocrat in Australia and is secretary of the Gaming Technology Association. Did I get that right? So that is their trade association. We really are getting people who are involved in various trade associations on here so that they can represent really kind of the broader view. So he's going to be talking a little bit about what's been going on in Australia. And then next person down is Tony Coles, who is a leading gaming attorney. He is with Gordon Dadds, is the name of the firm, but he is a past president of IMGL. And for those of you that don't know, IMGL is the International Masters of Gaming Law. And it's a great trade association of people that are in the legal side of the industry, either with firms or in-house counsel or regulators. And then on the end is Paul Burns, who is with the Canadian Gaming Association, our neighbor to the north here, and has got a variety of things that have been kind of emerging there that have been kind of interesting. So I think maybe what we'll do is start on the end with Paul and get a little bit closer to home, and then we'll broaden out into Europe and Australia with that. So Paul, you want to go ahead and give us an idea of what you've been dealing with lately?
Thanks, Sue. The Canadian Gaming Association is similar to the AG in the sense we represent major operators and suppliers across the country. We work with provincial lottery corps and regulators across the country, and education and advocacy on behalf of our industry. To look at the iGaming world in Canada, you have to start with gaming law in Canada's framework. Gaming law in Canada resides in the criminal code, which is now proving to be more of a challenge than it has been in many years. In short, the criminal code states that it prescribes in Part 7 of the code outlines prohibitions, offenses, small exemptions, and permitted lottery schemes. So most of the products are defined under the term lottery schemes. It also goes on to say that all gaming is essentially illegal unless it is conducted and managed, very key phrase, by the provincial government or their agents. And that conduct and manage phrase has led to a lot of discussion because there are many interpretations of that across by the provincial jurisdictions who operate gaming and have regulatory authority. So you go from complete state involvement and oversight to very little state involvement and various degrees in between across the Canadian provinces. What it also has done is the internet has proven to be obviously a very powerful tool, and like many other industries and like many other jurisdictions, our laws have not kept pace with the pace of technology. And it's becoming very real in Canada because the online operators from offshore have had unrestricted access to the Canadian market for the better part of, since day one. Canadian lottery corporations are offering online gaming sites based on the monopoly that they've had through lottery products and other gaming products in their jurisdictions. So country. They've been at it for about a decade now, and have seen their revenue, their win going up quite substantially each and every year, especially in the last few. They operate the platform for the province of Manitoba. There are no government offerings in Alberta or Saskatchewan. Ontario, Lottery and Gaming Ontario is the biggest province in the country, has a site with limited offerings and somewhat very restrictive use. There's no mobile. You can't use an iPad to access your site. It's only through desktops and laptops, which is in today's world is not the best way to go. Quebec, which has been on the largest site in Espèce, has had modest success in revenue around $80 million a year. Ontario has not reported out any separate revenue for their site. As an Ontario resident and a customer, you're hard pressed to find the site, frankly, because there's very little advertising and very little promotion. What you do see is lots of advertising and promotion from PokerStars and 888 and other sites. Ontario permits the advertising of .net sites on the play for free. And that's really how the blue market grew in Canada, was through the play for free model. And surprisingly, there's been very few new entrants in that because it proved to be, and we've done a lot of research to show that about 7% of players came through the play for free sites, play for money players. There is limited to no offerings on poker across the country through the provincial lottery corporations, which is why PokerStars, Full Tilt, and others have been the predominant player in the market, because they were the best offering, they were the first offering, and they held on to that competitive advantage. It's this unrestricted access that we believe there's about $1 billion in revenue leaving the country. It's not taxed, there's like $1 billion in Canada. And there's been various, we call it, there's a hole in our law, I guess the best way to put it is the gray areas. We use lots of terms. In fact, that there is no regulatory licensing regime for foreign players to sign up to. So there's no invitation. Many of them would love to be regulated and sign up and pay tax, but there's no mechanism for them to do that. So provinces have, in holding on to their monopoly positions, have, in the province of Quebec, this past spring, passed a Bill 74, which would require internet providers to block non-approved online gaming sites. It passed the Quebec legislature. In Canada, we have, similar to the United States, we have the Canadian Radio and Telecommunications Commission, which like the FCC. It regulates telecommunications and airwaves and such. They're the ones that oversee and regulate internet providers in the country. Quebec really stepped into an area of federal jurisdiction. Public interest groups for an open and free internet appealed to the CRTC, saying what Quebec was proposing is illegal. The CRTC at the beginning of September said, yes, you're right, it is. And now we're currently getting feedback from the public. There is an appeal mechanism, but in essence, that appeal mechanism is to the federal cabinet and brings it into the political sphere. I suspect that it probably won't continue much beyond. A lot of the public input they've been receiving to date has been in favor of squashing the IP blocking proposal. Subsequent to that, in the last couple of weeks, the province of British Columbia's regulated the Gaming Policy Enforcement Branch has been sending letters to offshore operators reminding them of the law in Canada, and that the fact that it talks about that no other person other than BCLC or a licensee may conduct and manage or operate a lottery scheme in British Columbia. The term in British Columbia, and I can come back to that in a second. And no person may offer gaming service unless they are authorized by GPEP to do so. Question Income in Canada is actually a server that sits in the Isle of Man or UK or anywhere else. Where's the gaming occurring in British British Columbia, or is it in that server? And that becomes the legal test and question in Canada. And that's why there's been no enforcement in Canada. The vagaries of the law as such that no one really wants to find out the answer. So we've let billions of dollars leave the country every year. Sports betting is one example where we've been trying to, in Canada, single event sports wagering in the United States is not legal. We've had 2 attempts now to change the laws on that just to create a level playing field for Canadian operators which can't offer a product which Canadians and many sports bettors around the world enjoy. It's this hole in the law that is going to come to how we deal with this. Is whether there's amendments to the criminal code. I don't believe there needs to be for a province to create a regulatory regime to invite people in to be licensed and regulated. There is no enforcement action. I can use my credit card. There's 5 major banks in Canada. I have easy access to any of those sites through the payment system. There's been no restrictions. And we surveyed Canadians, and 70% they believe that playing on a PokerStars or Bet365 or anybody else is legal. And so the public perception is they're there. Technology is there, and we're dealing with a criminal code that hasn't been amended since the 70s. And so we are at a point in time where we believe, and we've been asking for and calling for, is for regulation. It's for a means in which, because blocking, preventing is not going to work. It's not in the Canadian public policy interest to start blocking internet sites. And so our lay of our land right now is such that we're in this period where we're seeing, I used to see a lot of the time say the fastest growing part of the Canadian gaming industry is the part of the money that's leaving the country and going to the offshore operators. Obviously, with the demographic shift, change in technology, and rapid pace of technology adoption, people using more smartphones, tablets, and other things. The providers have offered offshore a more appealing offering than the lottery corporations in many cases. And it's a problem for British Columbia, which I think is a comparable site through their work with OpenBet and ONX. Paddy Power looks after their sports platform, and they've done some very good things, and they've shown that success. But at the same time, they're still